The practice that I have right now is about kind of tracing the nodes of my existence back to like the source. And right now I'm using a black hole as the source. What that means is there's theories cosmically, there's theories religiously, there's theories just like with biology about where life emanates from. And you can say that a void can be representative of like a black hole or like before the Big Bang, like there's nothingness. Or you can say that it's, the darkness and the void of a womb, or the darkness or the void of like, a motherboard before anything is connected to it. Or even in the Bible, it's like in Genesis, it says that the world was dark and void before light. The part of that is like, saying that in the beginning, was the word, and the word was with God, and God was the word. It's like, okay, so like data, intention, speaking something into the world, into existence with information. The same thing, so when I talk about building worlds, it's really an observational practice of exploring the nature of reality, and also finding ways to make a symbol that captures what that philosophy is. I carry the algorithms of my ancestors. My name is Ellex Swavoni, and I'm an artist, sculptor, designer. I was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. Um, the school systems that I was exposed to, living in the suburbs, were pretty decent, especially my high school, Eastern High School. I had a great art teacher who supported who I was and made sure I had the support to flourish. One more thing. Oh, two more things, huh? Damn. I forgot how much stuff I made up here. I was raised on the internet. Everything that the internet had to offer in the early 2000s is what inspired me. So, I had my first computer when I was 9 years old, and I went to the local Tinseltown movie theater, and they were giving out like AOL discs, would had like an hour of free internet on it. So I popped that in the computer, plugged up the dial up, get everybody to get off the phone so I can get 1 hour of internet. And I searched art, and I found this guy named Sam Flores, but he's a painter and he did these art toys, a geisha girl and a dragon boy. Those beautiful sculptures that were so cultural, so well made. I was like, man, like, how do I get this in my life? Because I'm a kid. I want these toys, but I can't pay hundreds of dollars for these toys. So I started trying to make them myself. I started to beg my mother for clay. Started off with like the crappy little modeling oil-based clay, the little Crayola clay, and then I moved up the ranks to like Sculpey, and then as I went to school, I got more access to actual ceramic clays and marble and stuff like that, and started to experiment with materials. But I'm a self-taught sculptor, so I tried to take what I could from the internet when I had access, and from books, and from just what I saw, to find the shapes, and use like ink pens and butter knives or whatever I had available as my tools to figure out how to get the forms that I wanted. And then I just kept doing it, and to the point that I'm able to render the things that I'm able to render now. I was extruding and mixing stains in the clay. That's why this is gray. I mean, this is why this is blue. My bad. Mixing the the black clay with the white clay, and the black clay with the blue clay, and just seeing like what would arise with the material. Because I've always thought that ceramics were evil, because everything is so sensitive when it comes to firing it and things having bubbles and exploding and getting glazes right and things. So I'm really excited about how organic the forms are, because I usually make things that are like very like toy-like and rigid. So seeing something that has like bends and folds is kind of refreshing and interesting to experiment with. So I think I'm still in that same lineage of like wanting to communicate my own identity in the sculpture work in a language of like art toy-esque or sci-fi or fantasy. Because that world is untamed basically, so I can do whatever I want. And using, computers and 3D printers versus like a butter knife and an ink pen to render my sculptures. Um, but being able to and wanting to communicate my own identity the same way that I saw Sam Flores communicate his identity is like the basis of what the sculpture practice is about. I'm excited about just exploring the material, seeing how the glazes react to the surface, and I don't know, experimenting with ways to use them because they're so weird. Like I was thinking about like wormholes when I was making them. Like how can I play with the tube and have kind of like speed or direction represented with some of the way the striations are with the different color clays. And now I'm just trying to like figure out a way to make it weird because they're weird. And I don't make weird stuff, so I think I should try to make some weird stuff. At least I don't think I make weird stuff anyways. I might be weird to somebody. Anything that you name, you can control. So I'm about to go deep. I read this book called Wired for Culture. And essentially, when we're born, we're like one of the few animals that are born completely useless. Like I hate to say it, but it's true. Like we can't do anything. All we can do is observe and cry. And that's if we're blessed with the ability to see and hear when we're born. So as we're sitting in wherever we're sitting and just crying for food and comfort and looking around, we're placing ourselves, where do we fit in this culture? Because we need each other to survive. That's how, those are our claws, our culture, our knowledge, our tools are how we exist in the world, how we survive against the elements. And so we need to define things and give things nomenclature in order to put them in their place so that we can build ourselves around that and can pass it down so we can survive. But wearing a nomenclature, it has like a weight. Like I'm a cisgendered woman, I'm heterosexual, I'm black, I'm southern, I'm this, all these different things. And if you look at those things like a program code, there's so many, you can kind of track like what your options are for existing in this particular node because of everything that you're tethered to. So I think that this generation is just trying to cut as many nodes as possible to see like what am I at my core? What is the true nature of my humanity without all the nomenclature? Because right now, none of it is serving us. Like, how is it that all this nomenclature is serving us when we can still see a man be beaten by the people who are sworn to protect him? How is it when we fought for rights that are being stripped away from us? You know what I mean? So I think that right now there's a cry in my generation because of all the promises that were broken in the system that was laid before us, but when we were born. So we're just trying to say, oh, you know what? We just gonna start cutting shit off and rebuild this reality in our image because it doesn't make any sense for who we are trying to be, which is our authentic selves. So it will be so stupid fun opening this. All right. Okay, well, now we close it. All right, bye, babies. I'll see you tomorrow night. All right, that's it. Now we wait. I spent my time at Handbig focusing on producing work for a show, but also just like sitting in silence because, it's a different type of quiet here when you can like look out your window and just like see the trees like doing that. Like, man, do they move like that in the city? I don't think they do. It's too many cars moving around and stuff. They just getting distracted by all the wind being made by cars. I spent time eating well, taking naps, walking in nature, meeting people. But I did a lot of work in Antinori and yeah, just finding new ways to navigate my practice. I'm excited though. They're cool. Going for like the vibe of a painting, which this could very much translate to a painting, I think. When I say I carry the algorithms of my ancestors, what I mean is I'm referencing DNA and epigenetics. So, you know, epigenetics being like gene expression can be influenced by experiences. And when you look at the breadth of experiences, like that is language, culture, how you dress, your dynamics with your relationships, and all what have you. So when I say I carry the algorithms, I think of my ancestors being like this database of information that they're gathering from their experiences and putting in their DNA. And then once that DNA is, connected with somebody else and I become a human being, those computations are gathered, combined, and iterated into a new being, and the generations continue. So I think that who knows if you were to unravel my story, if they were able to decode it, like what stories, what languages would be in my DNA, in everyone's DNA.